Next, under orders, we have lab tests, obviously something we order very commonly for inpatients. Our lab order menu, as you can see, I have some quick orders that I've set up, which we'll show shortly. But essentially, you would choose your lab test that you want here. There is a scroll, which goes on for quite a while. You can scroll and scroll. Easiest is just to type in the order that you want. So let's say we want to order a CBC. There are a number of options. Collect sample is blood, CBC always on a specimen of blood. And then urgency, we can select stat, urgent, routine. And to be honest, I don't know what OPC stands for. Generally, urgent, it's not clear what the priority level is for that. So generally, I would be selecting stat or routine. We'll leave this one at routine. Then we want to select the collection type. So as we discussed under the medications area, there's this code, WC means ward collect, LC means lab collect, SP means send patient to lab, or immediate collect. Since we don't have any IC here, we'll select immediate collect. For an example, it's going to default to the current time. If you wanted to change the time, you could. So you could say, I want to have this drawn at a specific time. So I'll say immediate collect, and we'll say at 16:30, 4:30 p.m. You could also select now or midnight. You can change the date, etc. So say OK, and it's going to show that as the time. We'll say OK. So now it shows that specific time, 4:30. Here we're going to say one time. I recommend always leaving this at one time. Sometimes trainees will want to say to order this daily, QAM. I want to order AM labs, 4:30, QAM, and they might set a duration. If you do that, I would encourage you to keep the duration short, because when we order labs, we don't want to order unnecessary tests in general. So just like ordering anything else, ordering an imaging test, think of labs the same way. If it's not making a difference in our management, we don't just need to do all the labs every morning just because they're in the hospital, right? We're still waking the patient up at 4:30, 5 in the morning, sticking them in the arm with a needle, which is never comfortable. It's irritating, it's disruptive. Depending on what's going on with the patient clinically, it could contribute to that. It can contribute to their stress about being in the hospital, etc. So this is my call to please just be judicious with our lab orders. Since we're here, and we have this set up as AM labs, so we'll just say once. I'll point out if we select lab collect, which is when we want to do for routine phlebotomy scheduled visits, it gives us what the lab draw times are that they are set up. So if we don't need something right away, we can always choose these scheduled lab draw times. So generally, when we're putting in AM labs, we're putting them in sometime after 4:30, but if we're on a night shift, we might be putting this in at 1 a.m. Just verify that we're selecting AM today, versus tomorrow. Just always good to double check. For AM labs, we always select the 4:30 window. Obviously, 9:30 is getting late for the purposes of rounds. So we would leave this again, as we did with medications. Rather than saying OK or accept, we would say save as quick order, which is what I did already. And again, it asks us what what the title we want to set as. I've already entered this as AMCBC, so we'll say cancel because I don't want to create a second one for myself. And again, we'll say quit and say no. And just for the purposes of demonstration, if we reset back out to the beginning, if I were to select this AMCBC, you can see it defaults to all of these settings right away. All I have to do is say accept, and I'll get a CBC tomorrow morning. This is telling me somebody has already ordered a CBC. for 3:30 p.m. this afternoon, which is fine. You know, for whatever reason, I want to get this CBC tomorrow morning. So that's how I do that. And we would sign it from there.